Today, I'll take you through a gripping 2016 Korean zombie horror film titled Train to Busan. Spoilers ahead, so brace yourself. A truck pulls up to a quarantine checkpoint where workers disinfect the vehicle. When the driver asks what's happening, he's told there's been a minor leak in the biotech district. Nothing serious. He drives off, but moments later hits a deer on the road. Checking for damage, he finds none and drives away, unaware the dead animal soon jerks back to life. Meanwhile, Seok-woo, a busy fund manager, is on a call discussing stock sales as reports of mysterious fish deaths flash across his screen. He quickly orders his assistant to sell off their shares in the affected company. After work, he argues with his ex-wife over their daughter Suwon's wish to visit her mother in Busan for her birthday. He doesn't want her traveling alone. At home, his mother greets him, and he finds Suwon secretly talking to her mom, insisting she can take the train by herself. Trying to make it up to her, he gives her a birthday gift, a Nintendo Wii, but she already owns it, leaving him awkward and silent as she quietly says all she really wants is to see her mom. His mother later reminds him that while his job might be important, this is a crucial time in his daughter's life too, then shows him a video of Suwon's school recital he missed. Watching it, he finally realizes how much he's hurt her and decides to take her to Busan himself. The next morning, while driving to the station, Seok-woo tries to lecture her about hard work, nearly colliding with an ambulance before noticing soot falling from the sky and a distant fire burning in the reflection of their car. At Seoul Station, the KTX train prepares to depart. Attendants and the conductor get ready as a baseball team boards with their cheerleader. Elderly sisters In-gil and Jong-gil take their seats, while Seok-woo and Suwon find theirs. Just before departure, a disoriented, bleeding girl stumbles aboard unnoticed. Outside, Suwon spots chaos on the platform, a man being attacked by someone. Inside the train, the infected girl collapses near the restroom as a frightened man locks himself inside, muttering that everyone is dead. An attendant tries to calm him, unaware of the horror about to unfold. As Suwon heads to the bathroom, she's stopped by the tough but kind-hearted Sang-hwa, who's guarding the door for his pregnant wife, and tells the little girl to use the next one. The female attendant discovers the bitten girl convulsing on the floor and frantically calls for medical help, unaware of the nightmare about to unfold. Meanwhile, Seok-woo wakes up to his ringing phone and realizes Suwon is missing. His assistant warns him that chaos is spreading across the country before the call cuts off. As Seok-woo searches for his daughter, the passengers watch breaking news of nationwide unrest on the train's TV screens. Suddenly, the bitten girl rises, now a full zombie, and attacks the attendant, who turns within seconds. Her supervisor rushes to check on her but is ambushed and bitten too, just as Suwon hides inside a restroom. The infected attendant staggers into the next car, spreading terror among passengers as the baseball team members are attacked one by one. Panic erupts as the infection spreads like wildfire through the train. The chief attendant yells for everyone to run to the next car. Seok-woo searches desperately for Suwon, but freezes as he witnesses the horrifying transformation of the crew. Suwon appears behind him, terrified, and he grabs her hand as a swarm of zombies charges after them. They sprint through the narrow corridors, chased by a wall of undead. In another car, Sang-hwa urges his pregnant wife Song-kyung to move, but when a woman is bitten in front of them, he tries to help and barely escapes being bitten himself. Seok-woo bursts into the next compartment and slams the door shut just before the zombies reach them. Sang-hwa fights off an attacker and locks another in the bathroom, yelling for his wife to run. Moments later, he and Seong-kyung reach Seok-woo, but he hesitates and shuts the door in their faces until Sang-hwa overpowers the zombie and forces his way in, slamming it shut behind them. Seok-woo quickly realizes the zombies can't operate doors and only react to sight, prompting Seong-kyung to cover the glass window with newspaper, stopping their frenzy. The train conductor then announces over the speaker that they won't be stopping at the next station, following orders from the control center. Yeon-suk, an arrogant businessman, demands answers over the intercom, but no one knows what's really happening. Seok-woo receives a heartbreaking call from his mother. She's turning into one of them mid-conversation, telling him to protect Suwon before her voice goes monstrous. He stays silent, shielding Suwon from the truth. As the train passes through a station, desperate survivors bang on the windows, pleading for help before zombies drag them down. On TV, a government broadcast declares a state of emergency, insisting that citizens ignore fake news and remain calm, even as footage shows cities burning and the infected overrunning the streets. Terrified passengers barricade the doors and move deeper into the train. Suwon tells her father her mother's phone isn't connecting, so he seats her beside the elderly sisters Jong-gil and In-gil. The kind In-gil offers Suwon her seat, but Seok-woo remains tense as Sang-hwa glares at him for shutting them out earlier. When Suwon shows kindness in return, he scolds her gently, telling her to think of herself first if she wants to survive. Another announcement echoes through the train as the conductor informs the passengers that they'll soon arrive at a station secured by the military. Seok-woo overhears Yeon-suk on a phone call, asking which cities are still open, and realizes the one they're approaching isn't on the safe list. Concerned, he tells Suan to stay put and moves to another car to make a call. Meanwhile, Songhua strikes up a conversation with Suan, and, upon learning her father is a fund manager, jokes that it makes him a bloodsucker. The girl nods innocently, while Seong Kyung lightens the mood by offering her some candy and asking her to say hello to her baby, letting her feel the gentle kick inside her belly. Seok-woo calls one of his contacts, hoping to secure a safe route. The man warns that once they arrive, everyone will be quarantined. But when Seok-woo pleads, saying his daughter is with him, the contact quietly advises him to head for the East Square instead of the main one and promises to alert his men. As Seok-woo ends the call, he notices a homeless man quietly listening nearby. When the train finally pulls into the station, it's eerily silent. No soldiers, no movement. Yeon-suk forces his way out first, with the rest of the passengers following close behind, including Seok-woo, Soo-an, and the remnants of the baseball team gripping their bats nervously. One of the attendants leads the conductor to inspect the car full of zombies, where Yeon-suk intercepts them, insisting they must uncouple the infected cars. The conductor agrees it's too dangerous to stop again and suggests heading straight to Busan, but first, he wants to ensure all passengers are safely back on board. Down in the station, Seok-woo quietly guides Soo-an through a cordoned-off path toward the East Square. The homeless man trails them, having overheard the plan, begging to join. Soo-an wants to warn the others, but Seok-woo refuses, and she grows upset. As the rest of the passengers descend the escalator, Songhua senses something wrong. An eerie silence fills the air. At that moment, a lone soldier appears at the end of the hallway where Seok-woo and Soo-an stand. The homeless man runs to him, and Seok-woo follows after, leaving Soo-an behind. But as the main group reaches the bottom of the escalator, the horrifying truth is revealed. The entire military unit has turned into zombies. The horde surges forward, tearing through the passengers. Songhua spots the danger just in time and pulls his wife back up the stairs. Seok-woo's phone rings. His contact says he can't reach his men anymore. And before the call ends, a zombie lunges from behind the soldier in the hallway, ripping into him. The homeless man slips as more zombies flood in, devouring the officer. Seok-woo races back to Soo-an, who narrowly avoids being bitten before Songhua appears and saves her. Seong Kyung grabs the girl, and they run as fast as they can. The surviving baseball players hold the train doors open for them. Seok-woo struggles to fight off a zombie until the homeless man throws himself forward to help, sprinting for the door. Songhua pulls it open, holding it long enough for Seok-woo to dive through, and together they force it shut as zombies slam against the glass. Seong Kyung sees chaos erupting behind them, the horde overwhelming the fleeing passengers. But there's no time to help. She runs with Soo-an toward another car as broken bodies crash through the station windows, pouring onto the train. One mangled zombie falls on Jong-gil, but can't reach her, its bones too shattered to move. Seong Kyung and Soo-an pull the older woman away, sprinting down the opposite corridor as a zombie chases close behind. Jong-gil is rescued by a train attendant and the cheerleader, escaping inside just as the doors slide shut. On the other side, Seong Kyung, Soo-an, and Jong-gil's sister manage to reach another compartment, dragging the homeless man inside seconds before the raging swarm slams into the door behind them. The zombies swarm around the train, pounding on the windows and doors, as Yeon-suk urgently tells the attendant they must leave now if they want to survive. The cheerleader pleads that they can't abandon their friends still outside, but the attendant, trembling, calls the conductor and orders him to depart. Meanwhile, Songhua secures the last door, but the glass shatters behind them, sending a wave of zombies pouring through. The men sprint down the corridor, the undead clawing at their heels. As the train begins to move, they rush toward it, but two of the remaining baseball players are caught and torn apart at the base of the stairs. The last one freezes in shock until Seok-woo grabs him and forces him to run, pulling him inside the moving train just in time. Songhua fights off the attackers with sheer strength, wielding a baton and shield to block the horde before diving inside. The conductor radios the control center, requesting a safe route to Busan, and is instructed to proceed directly, though he asks for confirmation once they've established contact with the next station. Elsewhere, Seong Kyung and the others find themselves trapped between two zombie-filled cars. Spotting an open restroom, she signals the group to hide inside, but as she steps in, a zombie lunges, forcing them to hold the door shut with all their strength while more zombies slam from the outside. In another section, frightened passengers cover the glass doors with newspaper and jackets as the conductor announces their direct route to Busan. The cheerleader receives a call from the last surviving baseball player. He tearfully apologizes, saying everyone else from his team is gone. At the same time, Seok-woo desperately tries to reach Soo-an, then suddenly hears Songhua's voice on his phone. Soo-an explains they're trapped inside a restroom in car 13. The baseball player relays that the rest of the survivors are in car 15. Determined to rescue them, Seok-woo, Songhua, and the boy plan their mission. Sanghua takes the lead, the boy in the middle, Seokwoo covering the rear, and they decide to move when the train enters the next tunnel. As soon as the lights dim, they charge forward, smashing through the undead. Sanghua crushes zombies with his bare hands while Seokwoo fights alongside him, using anything he can grab as a weapon, and the boy swings his bat fiercely. Together, they tear through the horde like a coordinated force of survival. The next car, however, is crawling with zombie baseball players. The boy freezes, horrified at the sight of his former teammates, but Sanghua shoves him aside and dives into the fight, fists and batons flying. Seokwoo grabs a fallen bat and joins in, but they're quickly overwhelmed. Suddenly, the train plunges into another tunnel, and the zombies falter in the darkness. Seokwoo quickly bangs the bat on the floor, drawing the creatures toward the sound, allowing the group to slip past unnoticed. They burst through the next door, just as daylight returns, and the zombies lunge again, barely escaping. Panting between cars, Seokwoo formulates a clever plan to use their phones as distractions during the next tunnel. When the train enters darkness again, they crawl silently through the car, and Seokwoo tosses Sanghua's phone to the back, calling it to lure the zombies away. As the undead gather around the glowing screen, the group slips through undetected, avoiding a single fight. They finally reach the toilet and reunite with Suwon, Songkyung, and the others in relief and exhaustion. The baseball player finds another restroom for safety, and when the train hits the next tunnel, he sneaks the others inside. Seokwoo, now timing the tunnels perfectly, calculates how much time they have before the next one. While the boy texts his girlfriend in car 15 to let her know they're alive, she smiles through tears, sharing the good news with the other survivors, hope flickering amid the chaos. Yeon-suk immediately objects to letting the newcomers in, insisting they could be infected, and the rest of the passengers reluctantly side with him. Songkyung pleads with the attendant to help convince them, but even he agrees with Yeon-suk, turning his back on the others. As the train enters another tunnel, Seokwoo's group finally emerges from the toilets, realizing they still have to get past a car full of zombies. They climb silently through the overhead luggage racks, inching along in the dark. Seokwoo creates a distraction, drawing the zombies' attention long enough for the others to climb down and sneak into the next car. Suddenly, the homeless man slips and falls, forcing Seokwoo to go back and help him. The two get stranded as the train exits the tunnel, and light floods in, alerting the zombies. Seokwoo counts down, ready to sprint, but the homeless man accidentally crushes a soda can under his foot, drawing the horde straight to them. They barely make it through the door, but Sanghua stays behind to hold it shut when one zombie's body jams the frame. The baseball player desperately calls his girlfriend in the next car, but she can't help. Yeon-suk and the others have sealed the door and won't open it. Seokwoo runs to help Sanghua hold the door while the boy tries to break through the other side. In the chaos, a zombie bites Sanghua. They finally manage to smash open the door, and the baseball player tries to pull everyone inside, but Yeon-suk blocks it, refusing to let them in. As the survivors on both sides struggle, Seokwoo and Seongkyung are forced to watch helplessly, while Sanghua, bleeding and exhausted, tells his wife to stay back. He looks at Seokwoo and asks him to take care of her before pushing him away and sacrificing himself, holding off the zombies until the last possible moment. The door collapses, and Seokwoo drags Seongkyung and Suwon inside, slamming it shut, but In-gil doesn't make it in time. Overcome with rage, Seokwoo attacks Yeon-suk, calling him a bastard for what he's done. Yeon-suk retaliates by shouting that Seokwoo is infected, and the terrified passengers order them to move to the vestibule. The homeless man leads the way, followed by the cheerleader, who refuses to stay with the cruel passengers and joins the baseball player. Songkyung gently tells Suwon they should leave too, and Seokwoo silently follows. The moment they step out, the others seal the doors, trapping them between cars. Inside, Jong-gil spots her zombified sister through the glass and, heartbroken, opens the door, letting the horde rush in and wipe out everyone in car 15. Elsewhere, the conductor radios ahead to Busan for updates, but gets no response, only the sight of flames rising from the burning city. In a quiet moment, Seokwoo finally speaks to his daughter, promising that he'll take her to her mother for her birthday. Not long after, he gets a call from his assistant, who informs him that Busan still has the strongest defenses left, but also reveals the devastating truth. The outbreak began in one of their own biotech companies. The train screeches to a halt, blocked by wreckage on the tracks, and the conductor quickly announces that he'll search for another train to get the remaining survivors to Busan. Against all odds, Yeon-suk and the attendant have survived the zombie massacre, hiding in a restroom. The conductor inspects a nearby train but finds it swarming with zombies and continues his desperate search until he discovers an empty one and starts it up. Meanwhile, Yeon-suk manipulates the terrified attendant, pretending to help him, only to shove him out into the horde so he can escape alone. Back with Seokwoo's group, a burning train car crashes into theirs, splitting them apart and scattering the survivors. The baseball player and the cheerleader take refuge in another train, but before they can seal the door, Yeon-suk barges in, shoving the girl toward the zombies to save himself. The boy kills the infected creature, but the cheerleader turns in his arms and bites him, sealing their tragic fate. Nearby, Seok-woo, Seong-kyung, Suan, and the homeless man regain consciousness, trapped under a derailed car filled with zombies. Yeon-suk spots the conductor moving a train and runs for it, calling for help. But when the man tries to pull him aboard, Yeon-suk abandons him to die. Seok-woo manages to pry open a gap for the others to escape, but the ground collapses behind them, and the zombies begin smashing through the windows. The homeless man bravely stays behind to hold them off, while Seok-woo drags Seong-kyung and Suan to safety. They run after the moving train, chased by a massive swarm. As they leap onto the last car, hundreds of zombies cling to the back, their weight slowing it down until Seok-woo kicks and fights them off, finally shaking the horde loose. Inside, they search for the conductor, but instead find a half-turned Yeon-suk in the driver's cabin. He deliriously insists he needs to get home, then fully turns and lunges at them. Seok-woo wrestles with him as Seong-kyung tries to help, and in the struggle, Yeon-suk bites Seok-woo's hand. With grim resolve, Seok-woo chains Yeon-suk to himself and throws him off the moving train before realizing his own infection is spreading. He guides Seong-kyung and Suan into the control room, showing them how to brake the train, then gently tells his daughter to stay with Seong-kyung and go on to Busan. Suan sobs and clings to him, refusing to let go, but he forces himself free before the transformation takes over. Stepping outside into the rushing wind, Seok-woo recalls the memory of holding his newborn daughter for the first time, a final moment of peace, before he jumps off the train to his death. The brakes engage, and the train grinds to a stop near a military blockade. Seong-kyung and Suan walk through the debris and bodies toward a dark tunnel leading to the other side. There, soldiers wait with guns aimed, unsure if the approaching figures are infected. A command to shoot is given. But then, through the silence, Suan begins to sing her recital song, her trembling voice echoing through the tunnel. Realizing they are survivors, the soldiers lower their weapons and call in the report. 2 survivors are approaching from the tunnel.